Dr. Borra.
And I'm Dr. Mata, and this is our
Psychology channel. In psychology, there are three main levels of analysis.
Fran, start from the beginning.
True that. Okay, so what is psychology? Psychology is the scientific study of mental processes and behavior, and how these are affected by internal processes and the environment.
So today, we're going to focus on the cognitive level of analysis, CLOA.
But what is the cognitive level of analysis, Kaye?
The cognitive level of analysis is responsible for the structure and functions of the brain.
There are different cognitive processes that we can explore. For example, memory.
Exactly! There are also different social cultural factors that have an effect on our cognitive process, like emotional involvement and cultural effect on our memory.
That takes us to our first question of the day. How can social cultural factors affect one's cognitive process?
For this question, we will be using two main studies, Bartlett 1932 and Scribner 1974.
Hi, my name is Bartlett, and I believe my study is a great and clear example of how social-cultural factors affect memory. The aim of my study was to see how memory would be affected by previous knowledge, and in this case, to see how cultural background made distort recall of a story. For this, I followed a very simple procedure. I used a technique called serial reproduction, in which participants would hear a story or see a drawing and would have to reproduce it after a period of time. I told the participants a Native American legend called the War of the Ghosts. Participants were all British, and the legend was full of unknown names and concepts. Results show me that participants managed to change the story as they tried to remember it. They did something called distortion, and this was shown in three different levels. The first level, assimilation. The story appeared to be more consistent with participants' own culture. The details were unconsciously changed to fit more their British norms. The second level, leveling. The story became shortened with each retelling as participants began to omit information they saw as unimportant. Finally, the third level, sharpening. Participants altered the order of the story to make more sense of it while using terms more suiting for their culture. They remembered main themes and also added details and/or emotion. My study was evaluated with a high ecological validity, regardless of being performed in the lab. On the other hand, my methodology was rigorously controlled since I did not give my participants standardized instructions about the time on which they had to retell the story or whether to use as much detail as they could. My study was quasi-experimental. Therefore, no independent variable was controlled, therefore no cause and effect could be established.
So how does the question relate to this study? Well, basically, participants remembered what was culturally familiar to them, and what wasn't, they kind of modified it a little bit. Hence, the culture in which people are brought up influences how they recall and reproduce stories and events to others, introducing cognitive distortions in memory because of the mental representations of the form of schemas. Bartlett's work in 1932 demonstrated how schemas originating in one particular culture can affect how literature from another culture is recalled. His participants relied on schematic knowledge acquired within their culture to understand and later recall a story from a different culture.
Hi there, I'm Cole. Unfortunately, my lab partner, Scribner, could not make it today, but I will go on and explain the study that we conducted together regarding the relationship between schooling and memory. The aim of our study was to investigate the different memory stages used by American and Liberian children. The procedure of our experiment had non-schooled and schooled Liberian kids, as well as schooled American kids as our participants. We made all the kids memorize a list of words organized in different categories, better known as a free recall. An important requirement of the procedure was that the words had to be remembered in a specific order. Also, the lists were culture sensitive, meaning that they showed some type of relationship to the kids' culture. After finalizing our study, the findings showed that the school Liberian as well as the school American kids used categorical recall to remember the words. On the other hand, non-school Liberian kids showed their memory in the form of a story, which showed equally as good results as schooled kids using categorical recall. Since the non-school Liberian kids adapted their memory to their own culture by creating stories to remember the list of words, we can conclude that the culture does have an impact on memory, and cognitive skills are made up not only of education but also of social interaction and culture. This study has a high cross-cultural validity as it assesses Liberian and American kids. It can also be replicated, and it's reliable as it shows an obvious cause and effect relationship.
So how does Cole and Scribner relate to the initial question? This study supports that culture affects memory. The Capel children perform just as well as their US counterparts in a culturally familiar memory task, but not on a free recall task. This is because the free recall task that Cole and his colleagues originally used to assess memory among Liberian tribal people has no precise analogy in traditional Liberian cultures. So, it's not surprising that the corresponding way of remembering would not be acquired. Cognitive skills, memory, are dependent on the environment, which is made up of education, social interaction, technology, and in this case, culture. Therefore, cultural influences, schemas, and thus our memory or ability to recall and have advantageous effects if asked to do a task associated with your culture.
Whoa, that was interesting. Well, now we know just how much our social cultural factors can affect our cognitive processes.
Yeah, but Fran, here's another interesting question. To what extent is one cognitive process reliable?
That's an excellent question, and I know exactly which studies can help us answer the question. Loftus and Palmer, 1974, and Brown and Kulik, 1977.
Hi, Loftus.
Hi, Palmer.
So, on the first experiment of our study, we decided to investigate whether the use of leading questions would affect approximation of speed. Loftus, how was it that you defined leading questions?
Oh, I define them as a question that either through form or content suggests a desired answer. And that's exactly what we used in this study.
For this experiment, we both predicted that the word smashed would result in a higher estimation of speed rather than the word hit.
In order to test this, we decided that our independent variable would be the different words used in the leading question, and our dependent variable would be the estimation of speed. We had a sample of 45 students in 7 different car crash videos with lengths ranged from 5 to 30 seconds.
After showing the video, we conducted a questionnaire asking the estimated speed at which the cars were going when they crashed. In this questionnaire, we made sure that all participants were asked the exact same question with the variation of the leading word.
After completing the procedure, our findings showed that the critical word consistently altered the estimation of speed from participants.
This suggests that one's memory of an accident could change by the use of suggestive questions, or in other words, the leading words.
That is correct, Palmer. In fact, if we compare the estimated speed from the word smashed with the estimated speed of one of the lowest word hit, we can notice an astounding difference.
Yes, indeed. The mean speed estimate for the word crashed in miles per hour was 40.8, in comparison to the word hit, which was around 31.8.
Therefore, this shows that the use of leading words can affect our estimation of speed and our overall memory.
Although our lab experiment did show a theory regarding the cognitive process of memory, we could argue some points when evaluating our study.
Yes, for instance, the fact that we conducted the experiment inside a lab doesn't really reflect how people could remember incidents in real life. Therefore, this experiment has a low ecological validity and cannot be generalized.
Another point to take into consideration is the demand characteristics in participants were aware of their participation, which could have potentially altered the final results of the study and consequently jeopardized the experiment.
But on the bright side, the easily controlled variables in our experiment show an evident cause and effect relationship, which allows us to demonstrate our theory about memory.
In conclusion, this experiment has allowed us to show that the use of leading words can affect our memory.
The connection between Loftus and Palmer and the initial question about how reliable is a cognitive process is the following. Loftus and Palmer hypothesized that people's memory for details of complex events could be distorted if they were asked to estimate how fast the car was going. Therefore, the fact that by changing a keyword in the leading question can distort your memory questions its reliability. They also hypothesized that not only could leading questions distort your memory, but also sleep, personality, emotion, stress, stage of mind, etc., which could affect how you remember certain events. Although the last 2 points were showing that the cognitive process is unreliable, in the study, it is shown that based on the schemas that the participants had of the words, they recalled the speed in a different way based on how they have experienced that specific word before. Therefore, your schemas of words can make situations more realistic, which could possibly lead to the cognitive process, your memory, being reliable to a certain extent.
Hi, I'm Brown.
And I'm Chloe. Brown and I got together to investigate how surprising and personally significant events would lead to flashbulb memories. But Brown, please remind me, what are flashbulb memories?
Flashbulb memories are a detailed and vivid memory that is stored on one occasion and retained for a lifetime. For this study, we asked 40 Black and 40 white American male participants to respond to a simple questionnaire with a focus on the deaths of public figures such as JFK and Martin Luther King, as well as someone they personally knew.
We found that 90% of the 80 participants managed to recall a significant amount of detail about the day when these events happened. Most participants also had very detailed memories of the death of a loved one. However, when it came to the assassination of a public figure, there is a difference in the results based on personal relevance. 75% of Black participants had flashbulb memories on Martin Luther King, compared to only 33% of white participants.
The good thing about our study is that it is reliable, which means our procedure can be replicated. Although, there's some other not so good details. Our questionnaire was retrospective in nature, which means the self-reported data relied on individuals' memory and could not be verified for accuracy by us.
Social desirability may have played a role in the responses, given that some participants may have tried to be liked by us or not judged by their responses. And finally, we couldn't help to show sampling bias. Our results are difficult to generalize, as only American males were studied.
Our study is a great way to show that memory is reliable, given that flashbulb memories allow us to remember situations vividly and with detail.
The connection between Brown and Kulik and the initial question about how social cultural factors affect one's cognitive process is the following. The two social cultures that were included in the experiment were Black and white. Each social culture had different results, which prove the difference of each culture affecting one's cognitive process. The Black culture and the white culture remembered their own culture's public figure's death, but they remembered the opposite culture's public figure's death vaguely.